The sun was setting over the small town of Millfield, casting an orange glow over the quaint houses and winding streets. It was a peaceful evening, just like any other. But little did the townspeople know, their peaceful lives were about to be shattered. It all started with a strange illness. People began to fall ill with flu-like symptoms, but this was no ordinary flu. The symptoms were much more severe and seemed to progress rapidly. Within a few days, those who were infected were bedridden and delirious. The town's doctor, Dr. Roberts, was baffled by the illness. He had never seen anything like it before. He worked tirelessly, trying to find a cure, but it seemed that no matter what he tried, the illness only seemed to get worse. As the days went by, more and more people fell ill. The town was in a state of panic. People were afraid to leave their homes, and those who were sick were quarantined in the local hospital. But the hospital was overwhelmed. There were too many sick people and not enough beds. The staff was stretched thin, and they were struggling to keep up with the demand. One night, as Dr. Roberts was making his rounds, he heard a commotion coming from one of the rooms. He rushed in to find one of the patients thrashing about on the bed, frothing at the mouth. Dr. Roberts tried to calm the patient, but it was too late. The patient let out a blood-curdling scream and then went limp. Dr. Roberts was horrified. He had never seen anything like it. He examined the patient and realized that he had no pulse. The patient was dead. But something was not right. The patient's body began to twitch and convulse. Dr. Roberts watched in horror as the patient's eyes snapped open and fixed on him with an empty, lifeless gaze. The patient let out a guttural moan and sat up. Dr. Roberts realized with a sinking feeling that the patient was not dead, but undead. The patient lunged at him, and Dr. Roberts barely managed to escape. He raced out of the room, his heart pounding in his chest. He knew what he had to do. He had to warn the others. He burst into the staff room, panting and out of breath. "We have to get out of here," he gasped. "The patients are turning into zombies." The staff stared at him in disbelief. "Zombies?" one of them repeated. "You must be delirious." But Dr. Roberts was not delirious. He had seen it with his own eyes. He knew what was happening. The illness that had been plaguing the town was turning people into zombies. The staff didn't know what to do. They were torn between the need to flee and the desire to stay and help those who were still sick. In the end, they decided to stay and try to find a cure. But it was too late. The zombie outbreak had already spread beyond the hospital. People were turning into zombies left and right, and there was no stopping it. The town of Millfield was in chaos. People were running through the streets, trying to escape the hordes of undead. The air was filled with the sound of moans and screams. The survivors barricaded themselves in their homes, trying to stay safe. But it was only a matter of time before the zombies broke through. The zombie apocalypse had begun, and there was no turning back. The world would never be the same again.
Leave a like and subscribe for more scary stories.